What's up, y'all? This is Brave, and I'm back with another review of Zatima. This is season 2, episode 3, and let's get right into this review. So we actually start this episode off with Fatima. She's on the phone with her homegirl, Angela, and Angela is getting on my nerves. Let's start there. Because Angela is like, girl, you need to get down here. Oh, and where is here? Back to the damn parking garage. I'm just like, girl, why are you there? Like, you are so thirsty because you see that according to you, this man likes your homegirl, and you're already at the place where her car is getting fixed. Please make that make sense. Nonetheless, another thing that has annoyed me, Angela telling Fatima that she needs to keep her options open. Ma'am, she is an engaged woman. Like, she is planning to marry the man that she's with so they can be together for the rest of their lives. What are you talking about? I'm really starting to hate her character, y'all. And I like the actress that plays her. But Tyler, can Fatima get a friend that's actually worth something? Please. So now we see Zach. He comes downstairs. He looked a little disheveled to me, as if he had a very long night. And they share this very sweet moment where she basically tells him that she's always going to be in his corner. She's going to ride for him, and she's always going to support him. I thought that was actually very sweet. I do like that sometimes when it comes to the Zatima characters, we do see that Fatima and Zach have these little sweet moments versus the things that we see with the shenanigans that happen on, Sisters. But let's talk about this next scene because Deja is a fool. I just don't know how long we don't have to tolerate Deja. So Deja's outside getting some groceries out of her car, right? All right, cool. Baby girl has a neck brace on. Sis, where'd the neck brace come from? According to her, she's blaming Fatima for everything. And Fatima is like, okay, I got you. So Fatima decides to head on over there and help her with her groceries, aka throw them up against the wall of the house. I said, now hold on, girl, you damaged Zach's property. Wait a second. But here's the thing about Deja. Deja be doing all this hooping and hollering and yelling and all of this stuff. I'm just trying to figure out how long are we as the audience going to have to deal with her antics. Because I understand that we want her to be the comic relief or whatever whenever we see her. But it's getting tired and it's getting old very fast. Especially considering this woman has already met Madam. This woman has already been put in her place so many times. It doesn't even make sense for her to keep messing with Zach and Fatima. Like, I don't know. I think we should rework her character. She could definitely still be an annoying neighbor, but I just think that her character needs to be reworked and get on their nerves in a different type of way. Now, let's go ahead and move on. So, Zach ends up dropping Fatima off at work. When he sees Paul, oh, baby boy is hot in the chest. He is insecure. He is jealous. And he's doing all of this because he sees another man who's helping Fatima. I'm like, well, do you do this to the grocery store workers? If you see somebody that's a good looking man at a local eatery, are you getting hot in the chest like this as well? Out of control, Zach. But here's the thing. Zach decides that he's going to get out the car and introduce himself or whatever. And, Paul is still trying to be respectful of Fatima during this whole process. Because if I was him, I would have slugged Zach. The way Zach was talking to him, especially about like how, I used to wear flannel shirts like that too when I was working in construction. But now I'm doing this, that, another. Zach, you don't even have a real job. Because what's really annoying me is how this man gets to walk around and act like he big man on campus, especially after this conversation. He act like he's big man on campus, but Zach don't have nothing going on. The nigga needs some hobbies, okay? Because he don't have no real job. According to him and Bryce, they're supposed to be working on 2 properties, right? Can he go down there and see what the properties are doing? Have they even bought the property? How's the construction going? Why isn't he getting his hands dirty? How much of his money is actually being funded into this? Like, it's so annoying, especially when we see this man go to the office. And I'm just like, what do you do when you go to the office, Zach? Go play games on your phone? I'm going to let that rock. Now, another thing that pissed me off, Paul was like, you know what? You ain't got to pay me I just did it. You good. And Fatima's like, no, I'm going to pay you something. Zach says, oh, I got it. He gives this man $7 funky out of his wallet and throws it at him. And that's the part where he should have got slugged. Because, Zach, how disrespectful. Nobody is coming at you foul. Nobody's giving you all this attitude. What's the problem? And it's definitely more than he went to go see his mom last night. I'm sorry, Fatima. Zach has had a shitty attitude since you got with him. Like I said on my other reviews, we have only seen this man be Mr. Huff and Puff, ready to blow something down every time we see him. Zach needs an attitude adjustment. Zach needs to grow up. And Zach needs to understand that at the end of the day, if you really want to be with Fatima, you cannot be this insecure and jealous. Especially considering this man did a favor for her. Chill out, man. So, now, let's go ahead and move on because at this point, Paul leaves, Angela leaves, and then we are just left with Zach and Fatima. And she's like, why are you acting like this? This is not how you usually are. And Zach is like, no, because he tried to do. Bye, Zach. We're tired. So Zach ends up leaving or whatever. And then we see that Angela was waiting on Fatima to come in to work, right? I said, Angela, you mean to tell me that you got off at her floor so that way you could catch up with her? Girl, you couldn't just send her a text. Nonetheless, you have Fatima and Angela having this conversation to where, of course, Fatima is taking up for Zach, saying, he had a conversation with his mom and it wasn't really good. So that's why he's acting out. Angela again reminds her to keep her options open. I said, Angela, stop doing that, please. So this is where things got real interesting for me. So Angela says, all right, I'm about to go ahead and go back to work. When she tries to get on the elevator, who is there? Bryce. I said, you know what, Tyler, you gonna stop making these niggas pop up on these women. Every time, there's always some man popping up at somebody's job. Nigga, go find something else to do. I don't care if Angela has been avoiding you. You can come at least after work. Don't start her day off bad. So here goes Bryce. He's over here talking about how, you've been avoiding me. Like, what's going on? And she's like, we're just moving too fast. I said, Angela, you should have been a little bit more honest, but this was not the time or the place. So she says, you know what? I'll call you later. We can talk later. Oh, do you know what his response was? Oh, well, if you don't call me, then I'm going to pop up at your house. No, you're not. Tyler, stop with the pop-ups. These people have got to learn that if someone does not want to talk to you in that moment, then they are allowed to not want to talk to you in that moment. How dare he say he going to pop up at this woman's house? Like, that is rude. Also, she did not invite you over. Cut it out. So, that is pretty much where that scene left off. Y'all, we get to Zach's office. Zach strolls in and his friends are there. Why are they here? Why is Tony and Nate here? Oh! Nate says, because I talked to Jeremiah. He tells me everything about you. Tyler, stop playing with me. I could have swore that Jeremiah just popped up. And him and Zach don't have any type of conversations. They don't talk. So, how would he know anything about what's going on with Zach? And why is Nate still talking to Jeremiah if he knows that Jeremiah, as well as Zach's mother, is terrible? They have done some terrible things to this man. Why are you still friends with them? That sounds a little crazy to me. Nate, you already on thin ice with me. I think that you are a terrible friend. The way that you hate on Fatima is ridiculous. And honestly, Zach needs new friends as well. This should be the Zatima gets new friends. That we need an episode for that. We need for Zatima to meet new, genuine people because the ones that they got in their corner ain't worth nothing. Okay? So, now let's go ahead and jump right back into this scene. And of course, you have Zach saying like he's good. He wants them to leave. But of course, they had to say multiple times, nah, are you good though? We gotta make sure our boy is good. Is the bro good? I'm like, shut up. Tyler, give them some other dialogue. So next thing you know, they start talking about, oh, how are things going with Bryce or whatever? And Zach's like, nah, everything ain't good. And before he can really get into it, Bryce ends up walking up. This scene annoyed me. It annoyed me so bad because Bryce is coming in, being nice to everybody, like, oh, we're going to play basketball, blah, 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 trying to be cool with the dudes. And Zach decides to put his hands up, block the guys from shaking this man's hand. He's like, nah, everybody's about to be doing something else. He's basically shut Bryce out of that conversation. And here's my thing. Regardless of what the situation is that he did to you, you're kind of treating him in a, I don't want to say a homophobic way, but the vibe that you give it is off. And I don't like it. Because he has never done anything to Nate. He has never done anything to Cam. Or not Cam. What's the boy name? Tony. I don't know where I got Cam from. He never did anything to that man either. So why are you acting like this? Zach has been on one and I'm over it. So the guys end up leaving. No, I'm sorry. Nate ends up leaving and Tony ends up staying so that way he can have a conversation with Zach. So he basically lets him know that, he's there for him and Zach honestly let him know that he feels some type of way about how his brother and mom, they are coming to him now. He feels like he owes them something. And Tony's like, no, you don't owe nobody nothing, especially considering what you've already been through. So clearly there's a lot of deep mixed emotions that Zach is going through right now. And honestly, he shouldn't have gone into the office. He probably should have sat and dealt with those emotions instead of going to the office and making Bryce's life harder. Nonetheless, let's go ahead back on to Fatima. So she has a problem that there's construction happening in the offices, I guess, above her or wherever that they are. And I'm like, why is all this construction even happening at this moment? This should have been the overnight crew if they was making all this type of noise. Especially considering how big this business is. I mean, there's multiple floors and multiple businesses. That would be very aggravating. So she decides to take it upon herself to walk all the way over to where the construction site was so that way she can let them know that her boss is on a conference call. So they need to go ahead and quiet it down. Girl, don't nobody give a fuck about Andy being on a conference call. So Paul is like, okay, well, I'm going to come down there with you or whatever. I guess to talk to the people at the law firm to apologize for how loud it is. So next thing you know, they get stuck in the elevator, right? Now we learn that this man is ex-military. He used to be in combat and he is claustrophobic. So he over doing his breathing techniques, right? And we also learn that Paul is the owner of the construction company. I said, let me tell you something about Tyler. Tyler don't make none of these niggas workers, okay? Everybody owns something when it comes to this show. Also, it made me remember, didn't Calvin own a construction company, y'all? And we ain't never seen that nigga in a hard hat. Am I the only one who remembers this? I could have sworn that Calvin owned a construction company and he out here wearing more blouses than anybody else, and we have never seen him work at all. You know what? I'm going to leave that in sisters. I'm going to leave that in sisters. So, Paul, he actually calls out Zach for being disrespectful towards Fatima. But of course, Fatima's going to ride for Zach, and that's what she was supposed to do, honestly. Regardless of what this man was saying, she's going to ride for him because, like she said, they're engaged, they're planning to be married, and she's only trying to push the good side of Zach, not the negative side. Now, y'all, let's slide on over back to Bryce, okay? Because baby boy is feeling some type of way. He's in his feelings. He goes to Zach's office, and he is giving him all the attitude, okay? Because Bryce asks Zach, so did you tell Fatima what happened? And he's like, yeah, of course I told Fatima. He's like, so what did you say? And he's like, I told her that you tried to kiss me. Now, Bryce, here's my thing. Bryce said something. I said, now, sir, you making things up. He said there was more to the story. I said, what was the more? Are you going to say that Zach gave you mixed signals? Is that what you're going to try to say? Because either way, you can't get out of this. Because even if Zach were to be interested in you, you were with Angela. So you was wrong. It don't matter how you flip this coin. So he goes on because Angela's mad at him because now he realizes that Angela knows what's going on. And here's my thing. Bryce ends up calling him an asshole. And then he also says that it was just a kiss. You're acting as if what did he say? You're acting as if I murdered your mother or something like that. Y'all, I don't know why, but that's the part that triggered Zach. And I'm just like, but let's be for real, for real. He didn't say that he was going to murder your mother. He said, you're acting as if I did something as horrible as murdering your mother. Nonetheless, Zach gave him all that energy back times 10. Because he's like, what you say about my mother? Baby boy has backed Bryce into a corner. And then he basically told him, like, that you ever say nothing about my mama. And then he storms out the room. I said again, Zach, just go home. Just go home after this. Bryce, don't even talk to this man. Y'all need to go ahead and cut ties right where we are. So, let's jump back over to Fatima, though. So, her feet starting to hurt because she's been standing in these heels waiting on him to fix this elevator, right? Now, the man's like, oh, you want to sit on my vest? She like, nah. And she wasn't going to sit on the floor in the elevator. I ain't knocking her because I would never sit on the floor in an elevator. Disgusting, okay? So she ends up asking him if he was single. And he's like, yeah. So she tried to put Angela on. I was like, okay, cool. Let's see where this go. Let's see Angela get some action. Let's see, Angela have a little come up. Baby, my hopes and dreams will shut the hell down because Paul is not interested at all. Because she's like, okay, Angela, she's a really good woman, all this stuff. And I'm going to be honest, I feel like it was because of her weight, for sure. Because he's like, she's not really my type. It's like, she's the same complexion as Fatima. She has clearly she has a decent job. Like, you don't even know her. Clearly, it's her weight because Angela is beautiful. So, this man says, yes, all my exes, no, not all my exes. He said, two of my exes, they actually look just like you. I said, well, nigga, that means you need to try something else. Because clearly that ain't what's working for you. So, as we already know, Fatima is engaged and she's not about to try to entertain Paul. So, then they start talking about Zach yet again. So, he goes on to talk about how Zach don't appreciate nothing. He mad at the world, this, that, another. And I was like, okay, there's some truths in here, and then there's also things that don't apply. Do I think that Zach is mad at the world? I think Zach is mad at a lot of the situations that have occurred within a short span of time. Do I think that he doesn't appreciate anything? He definitely appreciates Fatima. I definitely think that he appreciates the lifestyle that he's able to afford now. But like I said, with all the situations that have been thrown his way, I think that he is just down and out right now. Because, baby boy has been down and out since he was working at the damn airport. Oh, y'all, I kind of miss Zach working at the airport, if you want to be honest. Because I really miss his friendship with Danny. Okay, I'm getting sidetracked. Nonetheless, Fatima is writing for her man. We learned that they have been together for a year now. Has it been a year, y'all? Has it been a year? Somebody do the calculations from sisters. Has it been a year, or have they really only been together for like 6 months? Nonetheless, so this man, he goes on to tell her he would do anything to make her happy, and he's only interested in her. Then he had the audacity to hit her with the line, well, we can be friends. No, we cannot. Move on, Paul. Because this woman just sat in your face, told you that she was engaged to somebody, and you still trying to use the we can be friends card as if y'all are 22 years old? Cut that out. Cut it out, sir. So he ends up saying that he knows of this like therapy group. Or no, he knows of a doctor who does like this therapy group and retreat thing for black men. That, Zach can use this. This could be a good thing for Zach. And he's like, I'll give you the phone number or whatever. And I'm just like, yeah, that's cool and all. But again, like I mentioned on my last review, if Zach is going to get the proper help before the sisters do, I'm going to be pissed off. Because, no offense, but the stuff that Zach is going through is lightweight compared to what the girls went through. I'm sorry, I have to say it. A lot of the stuff that Zach is going through, he brought on himself. Him going back to mess around with Karen. Yeah, that's how you have a baby on the way. You getting drunk, going to the club. That's how you have Heather, who had a baby. Okay? The whole drama with your family. Listen, you just need to go ahead and stand up for yourself and say, I'm not giving y'all niggas nothing. Okay? Mama, you was a terrible mom. Jeremiah, you still terrible. We ain't moving forward. A lot of I get he got his trauma, but what we not gonna do is act like a lot of the decisions that Zach has been making has been on his own. That was his own merit. That was all him. When it comes to those sisters, though, the ones who really need the help, I'm not understanding why we can't get we should be able to get like a little mini series or something of the ladies attending therapy. Because what Danny just went through with that man assaulting her in her own home, that right there, she needs something. She needs some therapy. When it comes to Sabrina's whole life just came crashing down on her, and she's accused of something that she has not done. Are you kidding me? She can go to therapy. Karen has been through it from watching Aaron's wife, do what she did to herself, to even all the drama bouncing between Zach and Aaron. These women have been through a lot, and don't even get me started on all the abuse that Andy has been through since she's been messing with Gary. So I'm not understanding how Tyler can sit up here and play in our face and give Zach the proper tools so that way he can be a better person, but you won't give it to the sisters because they have a sister circle. That's crazy. Now back to the story at hand. Let's just go ahead and wrap this up. So we actually see that the elevator starts to work and it jolts Paul and Fatima. And what happens when the door opens? Zach is standing there, about to blow a gasket. Y'all, let me know what y'all thought about this episode. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And I will talk to y'all in the next one. Bye, guys.